As CEOs, there's so much demand on our time and energy that we can't afford to lead or act in ways that drain or waste said time or energy. If we do, our company's performance will suffer. But every one of us has done this. It's part of being human. But do we really have to be that human? In this video, we'll look at how raising our awareness in specific ways can improve our communication and dramatically lower stress levels. And not just our own, but the stress levels of all those around us. So let's start with a slow, deep breath. Awareness is the foundation of conscious leadership. Being profoundly aware of what's going on within us and around us opens doors to fresh insights, greater clarity about what we're sensing and feeling, and it provides a ton of rich information that can up-level our decision-making. With greater awareness, we're less likely to perceive things in distorted ways, and as a result, we're less likely to get caught up in drama. Even better, we're far less likely to be the source of the drama. And when we, as CEOs, are the source of the drama, there's always a cost. The more conscious we are, the more we tend to live in reality, which is very different than our filtered perception of reality. All of us at times have a colored perception of reality. I'm referring to how we see the world through the lens of our history, our conditioning, our woundedness. Kind of like that saying, he sees the world through rose-colored glasses. This doesn't discount the benefit of our history and experience. No, that can inform and guide us and guide every decision we make. That's the gift. The more aware we are as leaders, the more easily we recognize that our perceptions may be jaded or colored or distorted. That allows us to neutrally question if what we're perceiving is real or not. Essentially, checking whether we're overlaying our conditioning on top of what we're perceiving is an important process to work through. For example, if I grew up being repetitively criticized for the clothing I chose to wear, and it hurt my feelings over and over, it would leave a festering wound about being judged for what I like to wear. It goes deeper than that, though. We generally don't discern between being judged for our clothing style and being judged for who we are. After all, we're the ones who chose what we're wearing, and they're talking to us as though we're the ones that are wrong. So we make it about us as a person rather than about our preferences. Now, when we move forward in time later in life, I'm a CEO, and if in support of my looking my best, my assistant or a board member says, that tie doesn't really work for you. How about a red tie? That old unhealed wound of being criticized for my clothing style could easily get activated, triggering an emotional reaction. And we might lash out. Did I ask you for your fashion advice? Or even better, have you looked in a mirror? We've all been on both sides of this experience. As leaders, when we react, it can be messy. It drains energy and can create any number of short and long-term negative consequences. At the very least, time and energy are wasted and productivity is diminished. Relationships at a minimum are temporarily damaged. A conscious leader will have greater self-awareness of their vulnerabilities and triggers, and with that, a better chance of receiving the clothing feedback for what it is, an opinion or one's perspective. Even if the input was delivered unskillfully, conscious leaders will have a better chance of seeing what's real in situations instead of being thrown off course by ancient, unhealed wounds. And by the way, if we do get triggered into reaction, as the intensity of the situation eases and we return to sanity, a conscious leader will take whatever action is necessary to clean up the mess we've made. We'll take 100% responsibility for our words and behaviors and check in with anyone involved in the situation to make sure that we're okay, to see if there's anything that they need from us to come back into full partnership. Conscious leaders see a more holistic view of what's going on because we're aware of the subtle cues that ordinarily go unnoticed. Kind of like seeing and feeling more refined data in our businesses. With enhanced awareness, we can notice negative feelings we ourselves are having, like if we're feeling agitated in a meeting. Aware of the agitation we're feeling, we give ourselves an opportunity to see what's irritating us and to deal with the source of it directly instead of unconsciously lashing out. Conscious leaders are less likely to unknowingly let pressure build up in us until we explode in a damaging or costly outburst of anger. We'll be more aware if our team is experiencing overwhelming tension, and if we sense that, with skill and care, we can surface unspoken tension in conversation with the team and see what supportive steps can be taken to resolve the underlying issues. A conscious leader will also be sensitive enough to determine whether the team is feeling healthy tension or overwhelming tension. Sometimes it's obvious, but other times it's quite subtle. A bit of healthy tension keeps people engaged and driven. Too much tension blocks individual and team flow, and it reduces effectiveness. An example of healthy tension might be, let's say you have a project that requires 3 people to meet the deadline for a project milestone, and they're really having to strive to meet that deadline. That can generate function-raising healthy tension. If the team only has 2 people in it, though, the tension can overwhelm them and dramatically reduce their capacity, because they'll spend so much time in fear of failing and what might come out of that. Our job as conscious leaders is to listen, to sense what's going on in our organizations and respond, and to train our vice presidents, directors, managers, supervisors to listen and sense in these same ways. And as we grow conscious leadership throughout the organization, the company and its productivity flow will improve. Ultimately, the more grounded we are in what's real and not buried underneath all the muck of our lives that we haven't yet cleaned up, the less time and energy we'll waste and the fewer relationships we'll undermine. All of that has a cost, and not just in money. So let's ramp up the degree to which we're leading from a very aware, conscious space, and spare ourselves and others the agony and drain of our shadow-based leadership. It's a simple thing, perhaps not always easy, but it is always simple, and well within our reach. There's a lot more content on the 𝗢𝗿𝗂𝗋ₐ.com website, as well as info on how we can connect. I'll leave the link down below so you can check it out. Here's to leading wisely.